Hello friends, in this presentation I will discuss about peripheral nervous system in detail as well as some related topics. As you know that peripheral nervous system is the part of nervous system, so let's have a very short brief about the classification of nervous system. The nervous system control everything we do like breathing, eating, walking, smelling, thinking, writing and feeling etc. The nervous system is composed of brain, spinal cord and all the nerves, peripheral neurons, which are carrying sensory input to the brain and taking commands of brain to the organs. Suppose you want to switch on the light of your bedroom. This means your brain decided there should be light in the room. For that you have to raise your hand to access switch and put the switch button on. All these things are driven by your nervous system. The nervous system classified as central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Please look at the image on the screen. The central nervous system included brain and spinal cord. The primary action of central nervous system is to take sensory input from sensory organ like eyes, tongue, skin, nose, ear and respond on that input accordingly. How nervous system work here is a very sophisticated example. Suppose you are sitting in your office and 5 people have come to meet you. Once they come inside your office, you will look at them. Fortunately, you recognize 3 of them as John, Mani and Rumi. Have you ever tried to understand what happened inside CNS? Yes, the CNS took images of all 5 people through sensory input. Here sensory organ is your eyes. And compare with the older images stored in data center of your brain. 3 images matched and you recognize them as John, Mani and Rumi. What about other 2 images? Possibly you never met these 2 persons in the past, or the images of these 2 people may be washed out from your CNS data center. Now come to the main topic, peripheral nervous system. Peripheral means things located outside. You might have heard about the peripheral road, peripheral highways, which are normally located outer side of the city. So we can say apart from brain and spinal cord, rest part of the body is known as peripheral, like organ, tissue, limbs, etc. And all the nerves they possess are known as peripheral nerves. Again, I repeat, the peripheral nervous system includes all the nerves branching out of the brain and spinal cord. Assume for a moment that the CNS is the main highway. Then the PNS is the all connecting secondary roads in the form of nerves. These nerves allow to carry input to the CNS and process data or send back to the skeletal muscles or the respective organ in the form of electrical impulses. Further, peripheral nervous system is divided into 2 divisions, afferent or sensory neurons and afferent or motor neurons. The afferent neuron receive the external input or stimulus from peripheral region and carry these input to the CNS for further action. You can see in below image in blue the afferent neuron, afferent nerves take input from skin and carry this input to the spinal cord. The information is then interpreted inside brain and a response is sent through afferent motor neuron to the appropriate portion of the body. I repeated that afferent neuron take input from peripheral region to the CNS and afferent nerves carry process data or command from CNS to the body part. The afferent motor further divided into somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system. The somatic nervous system includes all the voluntary actions you do. The somatic nervous system innervate skeletal muscles. Here innervate means to stimulate or to supply with. The somatic nervous system controls voluntary movement of the body, such as bone, joints and skeletal muscles. Playing football, kicking motorbike, throwing something outside, writing paragraph are the examples of somatic nervous system. Means all the actions on that you have totally control or fall under somatic nervous system. Now let's discuss about autonomic nervous system. There are many actions your body do but you do not have any control on that, like functioning of heart and digestion etc. Actually, autonomic nervous system innervates smooth muscles and glands. And examples of smooth muscles are heart muscles, GIT, and glands like adrenal and pancreas, etc. The autonomic nervous system regulates involuntary actions. The action on that you do not have control, such that heartbeat, digestion, etc. Difference between somatic and autonomic nervous system. First, somatic nervous system. All voluntary actions is done by somatic nervous system, like walking, running, digging, playing games, etc. Somatic nervous system has single motor neuron from spinal cord to target organ, and it is called as alpha motor neuron. Acetylcholine is released at synapse, whereas autonomic nervous system, they includes all involuntary actions like secretion of hormones, digestion, heartbeat, etc. And they have two neurons. First one is the preganglionic neuron and second one is postganglionic neuron. And they release acetylcholine and norepinephrine. The autonomic nervous system further classified into three categories. First one is sympathetic nervous system, second one is a parasympathetic nervous system, third one is enteric nervous system. First, I will discuss here about sympathetic nervous system. Look at the image on the screen. You can see that the sympathetic nerves branch out from thoracic and lumbar regions, right from T1 to L2. That's why they are also called as thoracolumbar outflow. The sympathetic nervous system is essential to deal with emergencies. In other words, we can say fight or flight response. If you have scared or attacked by someone, you have basically experienced activation of your sympathetic system to prepare yourself for an emergency. Sympathetic nervous system is those system which sympathize you during stress condition. Now please listen carefully. If your central nervous system perceives threat, it activates sympathetic nervous system. From your spinal cord, sympathetic preganglionic fibers will come out and activate sympathetic ganglion. Afterward, postganglionic fibers are stimulated and norepinephrine from postganglionic nerve is released to the tissues. Also, postganglionic fiber stimulate adrenal medulla. And from adrenal medulla, epinephrine is released direct into blood stream. Almost every tissue has adrenergic receptors. Epinephrine and norepinephrine bind with adrenergic receptors and alter the tissue's functions to deal with the threatening situations. On the screen, you can see the diagram with descriptions how organs are affected on release of epinephrine and norepinephrine. I will brief you some of them. First, on emergency conditions, you need to see longer distance. Your pupil is dilated to make you see longer distance. Your muscles contracted and heart rate is increased to prepare body for intense physical activity. Coronary arteries are dilated to supply blood and oxygen to the heart. Trachea and bronchi, here bronchodilation is occurred to receive more oxygen. One contradictory thing is that in stress conditions, as on activation of sympathetic nervous system, the urine production from kidney is reduced and urine bladder is relaxed. Also, sphincter is closed, so no need to urinate frequently. But in stress conditions, many people need to urinate frequently. Possibly you are also one of them and experience during interview sessions. Urinating during fight and flight condition is also referred as dysfunction or malfunction of autonomic nervous system. Here I will try to make you understand the reason behind it. An area of the brain stem known as PMC is communicating with the bladder. The prefrontal cortex is area of the brain can inhibit the desire to urinate in coordination with the brain stem. But in stressful conditions, the inhibitory signals from the frontal lobe can be overridden by the limbic system. So we can blame the limbic system. The limbic system is a combination of brain area that controls the fight and flight response. When we become stressed, the electrical signal from the limbic system becomes so intense that the brain stem is unable to take the command of the frontal lobe. That's why many people urinate more frequently prior to important exams or going to face interviewers or other things. Next is parasympathetic nervous system. You can see on the screen that parasympathetic nerves are branched out from cranial region and sacral region. That's why they are also called as craniosacral outflow. The main functions of PNS are commonly described as rest and digest response. Since it is involved in slowing down the heart rate, relaxing the sphincter muscles, it increases the activity of GIT and urine bladder. So output of urine is increased and digestion activity is increased. Difference between sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. First, sympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system has short preganglionic nerves and longer postganglionic nerves. This system involved in fight and flight response. The sympathetic system prepares the body for any potential danger, whereas the parasympathetic nervous system has longer preganglionic nerve and shorter postganglionic nerve. The parasympathetic nervous system involved in maintaining homeostasis and also permit the rest and digest response. The parasympathetic system aims to bring the body to a state of calm. I intentionally dropped the enteric nervous system. Thanks for watching.